everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I'm going to talk to you about how the marijuana plant and kratom plant and psychedelics have helped me heal. There's a lot of debate on this stuff, right? Like, there's so much debate on all of these things, which is why I think it's really important to talk about it. Because indeed, plants, specifically the marijuana plant and kratom and mushrooms, how they've helped me. So there was a time when I was totally immersed in the conventional medical system. I had manifestations of Lyme disease from birth, and so I was basically seeing one kind of a doctor or another my entire life, which I have PTSD from, and it never really helped me. And so at one point when I was dying because of conventional medicine, I decided, if I was gonna die, I was gonna die at my own hands and not, the system. So I saw other people healing with plant medicine, and it just made sense to me. I'm obviously not a doctor, so disclaimer, I'm not trying to talk anybody out of doing Western medicine or whatever. I'm just telling you my experience, and if it aligns with you, then I encourage you to dive into plant medicine. Find your local herbalist, do a lot of research on these plants that are not a part of conventional sites. So yeah, so what had happened was I got really sick from Lyme disease, and I had experienced fibromyalgia, thyroid disorder, gastroparesis, and a lot of mental illness. Actually, after I had my second son, I went into a full-blown postpartum psychosis, and I was in and out of the hospital for about 4 years and attempted suicide 6 times. And it got to the point where I was on 9 different antipsychotics, antidepressants, anti-anxieties, and I was a zombie. I was all over the place. And it got to the point where they were just like, well, none of these pills are working, so we want to do electric shock therapy, which is now illegal. And I was just like, the fuck? I'm not the one. Not me. So I was like, I'd rather lock myself up forever in somewhere than have to be on all these meds and be crazy anyway. Just hide me in a basement somewhere. So it got really bad. And then that's when that's when I got sober. That's when I realized that stress was a killer, and I looked around my life and I was like, well, then I have a lot of shit to eliminate. And so I just took the steps to do that. And then I got myself off of opiates because, again, I was in immense pain. And I started going to a chiropractor, and I did all of that, and I did energy medicine as well. Now I'm an energy healer from how amazing the experience was. However, when you're in pain, it's so hard to be able to focus on anything else. So at some point I was like, okay, great, I'm off of these opiates, that's great, and I'm still in relentless amount of pain, to the point where I was begging my then husband to kill me because I couldn't do it myself. My dad committed suicide, and I guess ultimately my mom ended up killing herself too. It was really pain pills, opiates, but she had Lyme disease, and you know, same thing. So like, it's sad, but I'm grateful that I had that reference. You know, I saw what all of that turned into, and I was just like, again, I'm not the one. I didn't come here to be miserable, you know? Did you come here to be miserable? No. No. So, you know, it's about making just different choices. Like, if something, if the way you're living now makes you miserable, then just change something. Like, just change one thing. Anything. Pick something. Just change it. But anyway, that's besides the point. So I ended up batshit crazy, and I got sober. I started learning how to be a decent human being because I really didn't know how to be a decent human being. I'm still pretty like abrasive in some ways, and so it was like real bad before I got sober. And although I will put in, I don't go to AA or any of those programs anymore, because it's now become a thing where I don't drink, you know, because I don't like it, not because I'm afraid of who I'll be if I do. I just don't like it. So that's super cool. However, AA got me closer to God when I felt so far away. And when I say God, I mean like universe or source, or, you know, it's the same thing, different language. So just want to put that out there. The 12 steps are good for anyone, and my clients, I have them do a 4th and 5th step because it's that helpful. I think everyone should have to do the 12 steps. You can apply it to anything, literally anything. So if you're miserable, look up AA's 12 steps of recovery and start doing them shits, because that changes life quite a bit. So I found Kratom. I was listening to Abraham Hicks, and it came up about like, you know, taking things to alleviate pain, and is that counterproductive to manifestation and all of this stuff. And it came down to like choosing something that brought relief, and right then and there, before I could do anything else, I had to find relief from the pain. And luckily, my friend Jennifer Katie on Facebook, she's an amazing Kratom advocate. She was posting a lot about it, and I saw it, and I was just like, oh my god, because she has Lyme too, or had it. She may be in remission at this point, I'm not sure. And I was just like, okay, you know, I'm gonna try this. And so from the moment I tried it, I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. And like overnight, I went from literally not being able to get out of bed to like being able to get up and make myself food. Because let me tell you, when you're by yourself and you're so sick you can't get out of bed, like it's just a dog chasing its own tail, right? Like you can't get up and make yourself food, and if you don't make yourself food, then you're not gonna feel well, you know what I mean? So like there comes a point when you gotta have some sort of relief to like level you up, level your vibration up, because when your vibration raises, you can think clearer, make better decisions, okay? So I raised my vibration. I also was like, that was a focus of mine, was to raise my vibration, and I know plants have a higher vibration than chemicals. So it just made sense, you know, to keep going. And it did. It made me so happy. Like, not only did it, you know, physically help me with the pain, but it elevated my mood. And I know that like it is addictive. I am aware that there have been, I think there's been like 30 deaths because of Kratom. I want to point out to you how much alcohol kills a year, how much sugar is addictive, how much not getting your teeth taken care of can be a detriment to your heart, you know what I mean? And so people are who like, well, I have a friend or a relative who took it and died, like, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry that it happened for that person, and at the same time, herd, mentality, like, it helps way more than it hurts. So that's my little rant on Kratom. It helps get people off of opiates, which is a huge issue. And that's why I say you have to look up a bunch of sources that are not mainstream, because they don't want this to be legal. It's because it would get us off of opiates and allow us to be a higher vibration, and they don't want that. They don't want that, because when we're in pain and we're sick and we're suffering, we're easily controlled, right? We're not able to think clearly when we're in so much pain. So I did what I had to do, and I got myself some relief. And so it just built from there. Like, just being able to get up and take care of myself gave me so much hope, and it really helped me get through the next part of my life that was coming up. And what happened was, I was in organ failure. This is 2015. I got married in November, and then in December I was finally diagnosed with Lyme disease, CDC positive. And then I got a hysterectomy on January 6th of 2016, because I had gone into organ failure, essentially. I had endometriosis as well. Side note, if you have issues in your reproductive system, check out sexual abuse history, or check out, like, hating or resenting the feminine. Anyway, I ended up having to get a hysterectomy, which that on top of Lyme disease treatment threw me into a whole healing crisis. And then my uncle died of a heart attack, and then a couple months later, my best friend killed herself, and then my mom died in 2017, and I was homeless with the kids in organ failure. It was fucking bananas, man. So I leaned into the experience, and all through it I took Kratom, and it was just really a lifesaver. Like, it allowed me to have the energy and the pain-free experience to be able to do what I had to do. It helped me think clearer so that I could do what I had to do to support my family. Also, marijuana. Oh, well, actually, let me talk about medicinal mushrooms. Because I had gone through so much, I was just like numb. I was numb. I didn't have any moment to process anything. As soon as one thing, it was just one thing after another after another. And I know, as an energy and emotional healer, that if that stays inside, it's just going to manifest more physical symptoms, right? Because the body is a communication device between our higher self and our human experience, right? And pain is actually communication, and if you look to that specific location, you will find out, like, what the root trauma is. If you're interested in that, go ahead and message me. So I began to take medicinal mushrooms in my own ceremony by myself, and it would just allow me to feel. And I would cry and cry and cry and cry and cry and cry and cry, which is what I needed to do. And I got it all out. I got some messages channeled in from my mom that explained some things for me. I heard the trees tell me that I'm too hard on myself, and they love me and they want me to love myself. And it was an amazing process, and I definitely recommend it. Somebody's gonna come out the door. So I definitely recommend doing medicinal mushrooms. I did them in smaller quantities, not quite microdosing, but not quite like a whole dose, And you can come out, Daddy. Hi. And so then the other thing was how the marijuana plant helped me so much in so many areas, and still continues to help me. So I was able to use, whenever I was in Maryland, medicinal cannabis. And I was taking FICO oil, which is full extract cannabis oil. And when you take it internally, it's got to be the full extract of it. It will cure cancer, AIDS, and Lyme disease. I guess I shouldn't say cure, but it can put it in remission. How about that? And so I began taking that as the antibiotic for Lyme disease, and let me tell you, it works. So like, really listen when they tell you to tiny dose it, because what it does is, as it kills the Lyme spirochete, it releases, these toxins. It's like the death rattle, and then when you have Lyme, your lymphatic system is shut down, so it traps all of that inside, and it causes something to happen that's called a healing crisis, or Herxheimer reaction. And that's from, I think his name was Jeremy Herxheimer. Don't quote me on that. And so it helped me through that. The plant has helped me through anxiety and pain, and I experienced the manifestation of gastroparesis, paresis, however you say that. And so I deal with like nausea and acid reflux, and I get a really icky feeling after I eat, and really, really, really nauseated. And so smoking would relieve some of those symptoms, while eating it was actually acting as an antibiotic. It's a very strong antibiotic, very strong, and it replaces how many medicines? Again, they don't want you to know that. So now that I have been doing so well, I've been doing the energy work, I've been doing the emotional transmutation, I've been addressing my diet, I've been removing blocks and all of that jazz, I've gotten to the point where I don't have to take Kratom anymore. Which is like mind-blowing, going from begging your husband to kill you because you're in so much pain, and 16, 17, 18, 3 years later, not needing to take it. I was in the middle of doing disability paperwork, and I've decided to not pursue that anymore, because I know I can heal myself to the point where I won't need disability. As I listen to my inner guides more and more, I find more abundance, and more abundance. So it's super awesome, and I'm so happy with where I'm at in my life right now, and I'm so grateful for the medicine, as I am grateful that I don't have to take it anymore. I will say that I was still experiencing like joint pain and the nausea, headaches. I was still kind of having, not enough to take the Kratom, but enough to want to find relief. And when I was smoking, the marijuana bud, sometimes it would cause more pain. And I learned that that's connected to a histamine response, which is a whole other video. But if you smoke marijuana and sometimes it affects you and sometimes it doesn't, look into the histamine response, because any dried herb will cause a histamine response for someone who is histamine intolerant. So then I got to the point where it was like, man, I really would love to find a way to have the benefits of smoking the bud, and without being like stoned, or without having the inflammatory response, because it's great to be stoned, but it definitely impacts my focus, my memory, and like I said, like pain that I would have. So that's why, like, I had been on a search to find a CBD oil that worked for me, because a lot of people were raving about it. And I tried at least, like, I would say at least, I was saying it was like 10, but it's probably like 7 different brands. I'll have to sit down and write the list. I'm not going to name them here because I don't want to poo-poo on anybody. But they didn't work. They didn't work, or they were so expensive for just a little bottle, and there wasn't any like guarantee or anything that it was going to work. And having a limited amount of money, like, you know, $70 is a pretty big investment without some sort of a safety net, because that could, you know, get me some supplements that I know already really work. So I've been on the lookout for about 5 years, and I recently chose a company, you know, and I became a distributor because it honestly got me the CBD oil cheaper. However, now that I have been taking it for about 2 weeks, I'm pretty sold on it, you know. I have less joint pain, which allows me to have more energy. I'm clear, and it helps with anxiety. Like, I just feel less anxious. I've been sleeping a lot better. I'm coming off of Benadryl at night, and so I kind of needed something I wanted something to help me sleep. And this is it, you know, it's called HempWorks. I don't want to be all salesy here, but, like, you know, I mean, legit, it really helps, and it's a great company. And it's part of the marijuana plant, you know what I mean? And it's a way to get, like, the benefits of, like, that I got from smoking without smoking, which is something I'd like to get away from in general, like no vapes and no smoking, because it's not good for you, even if it's marijuana. And and allow myself to be productive and not have couch lock all day. So, it's like US hemp certified, it's organic, it's FDA approved, and it's 100% CBD oil, where the other ones are lesser percentage, and they're mixed with some sort of carrier oil. And it's a big bottle. So I'm having fun with it, and it's definitely helping, and I'm super grateful. And I've had a lot of people ask me about, like, how I managed my pain, and so I wanted to make this video to let you guys know how I managed my physical and emotional pain, and why I'm such an advocate for marijuana and Kratom, because it very much saved my life. Very literally saved my life, and I am incredibly grateful. I am also incredibly grateful for you joining me today and listening and sharing. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me. You can find me on Facebook, The Loving Life, and it's, you know, build a life you love, one snapshot at a time. You know, I'm also in Metaphysical Misfits. It's the closed group that I run, focused on, you know, alignment, spirituality, health, and wellness, kind of like the whole kit and caboodle. And Instagram, Metaphysical Misfit. So I would love if you found me, you know, and like I said, just send any questions you have, and I will make a video, and I'll mention your name if you would like. So make sure that you let me know if it's okay for me to say your name when you send me a message. So thank you so much, and I hope that this helps, you know. I'd love to hear what you think. Let's try to keep things focused on what we would rather see if we want to be critical, instead of, like, poo-pooing me for what what you didn't like, because constructive criticism goes way farther than being hypercritical. So have a great day.